Zach Parker wins a 12-round split decision over Darryl Williams to become the new British super middleweight champion. Excuse me. Now, I'm going to get right to this. This to me was a clear as day. This was daylight, highlight, whatever you want to call it, robbery. Yeah. To me, Zach Parker, to be fair, he had an injury, definitely. His left, I think, was an arm or shoulder, something like that, was injured because he was fighting southpaw a lot. But nevertheless, he was clearly bettered by Darryl Williams in this fight. Darryl Williams was on him like white to bread. From the opening bell, he was landing lovely clean eye-catching shots. Rocked him, I think, twice in the second round, which was by far Darryl Williams' best round. And you saw Zach Parker, whenever he would back up against the ropes or whenever you thought he was out of range, he would kind of pivot to the side. Darryl Williams, he's a very short, compact fighter. He's a pressure fighter. He has one gear, which is forward. Was throwing these looping left hooks, and they were always finding a home. You know, he was getting some body shots in there. He actually opened up, I think it was actually more down to a clash of heads, to be fair. But he opened up a little gash underneath Zach Parker's eye. And, you know, to me, he was bossing the fight. That's not to say Zach Parker wasn't in it, didn't have his fair few rounds. He did. He had a couple of rounds in there. I think near the end of the fight, you know, he was using his legs to good effect. He was, you know, moving in and out range. But even still, the effective aggressiveness, which is what you score boxing on, the clean, effective shots were coming from Darryl Williams. And I'm sorry, but this, to me, was just a robbery. This was a robbery. Zach Parker won a few rounds in there, but not enough to win him the fight. One judge, when they announced this fight, going to the scorecards, right, one judge scored the fight 117 to 112. So he scored at what, 9 rounds to Parker? You got to be kidding me. He only gave, I think, 3 rounds to Williams. Or so 8 rounds to Parker, 1 even, and 3 to Williams. You got to be goddamn kidding me. That's, no. Williams won more than his fair share of rounds in this fight. I really don't know what to say about that. You know, the funny thing is, it's a neutral crowd. This was in Scotland, and they were booing loudly the decision. I really don't know what to say. Full credit to Zach Parker for fighting on with an injury. Most fighters would have quit in that scenario. Depending on how bad the injury was. He was a one-handed fighter, and it really was hindering him. You could tell he was fighting southpaw, which is not his natural stance. And, he was really flicking the jab out, the right jab, and there was not really much on it. And even when he would switch orthodox, he wasn't having much more success because of the injury. But, this fight was robbery, as far as I'm concerned. I wasn't scoring it myself, but by the end of the fight, I was pretty sure Darryl Williams took this fight and took it pretty clearly, as to the commentators, Ron McIntosh and Barry Jones. So, yeah, I think the board are going to have to look into this and get a rematch ordered. If they have a rematch, I would definitely favour Williams to win the rematch, provided it's on neutral territory, which I'd seriously doubt it will be, because I actually think that Zach Parker's promoted by the Sauerlands, so one can imagine it would probably be on a Sauerland show, but you never know. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this fight. My heart goes out to Darryl Williams. He fought like a warrior, he fought his heart out, so too did Zach Parker, but Darryl Williams deserved this decision, and it's one of the things in boxing that I really hate is when we see a fighter, give his heart out and not get the decision. So let's hope this doesn't keep going tonight. Let's hope the other 2 fights on after this, Donaire and Burnett and Taylor Martin, are fair fights with fair results. So we'll see.